The three denials of Peter to Jesus. The three denials of Peter to Jesus are recounted in the New Testament Gospels of the Bible, specifically in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. These accounts narrate an episode during the Passion of Christ, when Jesus was arrested and brought to trial before his crucifixion. Peter, one of Jesus' closest disciples, made three denials of knowing Jesus at that critical moment. First denial. After the Last Supper, Jesus led his disciples to the Mount of Olives, where he predicted that he would be betrayed and that they would all desert him that very night. Peter, always impulsive and full of confidence in his commitment to Jesus, rejected this assertion and declared that he would never abandon him. "Even if all fall away on account of you, I never will," Peter vehemently proclaimed. Book of Matthew, chapter 26, verse 33, and Book of Mark, chapter 14, verse 29. However, as the night progressed, events unfolded rapidly. Jesus was arrested by the Jewish authorities in the Garden of Gethsemane, and Peter followed closely, filled with worry and fear. When they reached the house of the high priest Caiaphas, Peter stayed in the courtyard, where he faced the first test of his loyalty. A servant girl identified him as a disciple of Jesus and said, "You also were with Jesus of Galilee." At that moment, all eyes turned to Peter, who, overcome by fear and insecurity, vehemently denied any association with his master. "I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know the man," he declared. Book of Matthew, chapters 26, 69 to 70. Book of Mark, chapters 14, 66 to 68. Book of Luke, chapters 22, 55-57, and Book of John, chapters 18, 16, 17. Second denial. Although Peter managed to avoid the first denial, fear and anxiety continued to torment him. He remained in the high priest's courtyard, closely observing what was happening with Jesus. Shortly thereafter, another person present, a servant, pointed him out once again and stated, "This fellow was with Jesus of Nazareth." This time, the accusation was more forceful, and Peter's fears intensified. Caught in a whirlwind of emotions and fearing for his own safety, he vehemently denied any connection with Jesus. "I do not know the man. I do not know what you are talking about," he exclaimed with anxiety. Book of Matthew, chapters 26, 71 to 72. Book of Mark, chapters 14, 69 to 70. Book of Luke, chapter 22, 58, and Book of John, chapter 18, 25. Third denial. The atmosphere in the courtyard became increasingly hostile and dangerous. As the night wore on, some of those present insisted that Peter was undoubtedly one of Jesus' followers. One of them even claimed he could recognize him by his accent, which revealed his Galilean origin, a region associated with Jesus. Tension reached its peak when a group of people approached Peter and asserted, "Surely you are one of them, for your accent betrays you." At that point, Peter, feeling cornered and overcome by fear, delivered his third and most stunning denial. "I do not know the man, and I do not know what you are talking about," he swore in desperation. Book of Matthew, chapters 26, 73 to 75. Book of Mark, chapters 14, 70 to 72. Book of Luke, chapters 22, 59-62, and Book of John, chapters 18, 26, 27. Immediately after this third denial, the rooster crowed, and Jesus' prophecy was fulfilled. At that moment, Peter realized what he had done, and the reality of his denial hit him hard. He was filled with remorse and sorrow, understanding that he had failed to keep his promise of loyalty to his master. The scriptures tell us that in the midst of his distress, Peter wept bitterly. Book of Matthew, chapter 26, verse 75, Book of Mark, chapter 14, verse 72, and Book of Luke, chapter 22, verse 62. These denials of Peter to Jesus remind us of human frailty and the complexity of our nature. Despite the best intentions and the most fervent commitment, We all face trials and temptations in our daily lives. The story of Peter teaches us about the importance of humility, perseverance in faith, and an understanding that, even though we may falter in moments of weakness, God's grace is always present to forgive and restore us. Peter's later life, after Jesus' resurrection, is a testament to how divine mercy can transform our lives and even use our weaknesses to fulfill its purpose in us.